Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I've got an episode of Sniper Sunday, the series where we play the Recon class and we try and figure out the most effective way to snipe and engage our enemies at long range. On the previous episode of Sniper Sunday, I asked you guys to pick a gun that you would like me to use for the next episode, and it seemed that the majority of you wanted to see the JNG-90. Now this sniper rifle was actually quite good in Battlefield 3. It had great muzzle velocity. It made it very good for long range sniping, and it still maintains its 560 meters per second bullet velocity for Battlefield 4, which is great. It makes it pretty good at shooting long range targets and moving targets. The only difference now is that in Battlefield 4 we have some new sniper rifles, and there's actually 4 different bolt action sniper rifles that shoot with a higher muzzle velocity than the JNG-90, so there are some better options for extreme long-range shooting. Unfortunately, this weapon did take a hit in the rate of fire department. It used to be able to crank out 46 rounds per minute, and that's pretty quick for a bolt-action weapon, and now it's been dropped down to 41 rounds per minute, making it one of the slowest bolt-action sniper rifles out there. So you got to make sure you hit your targets. You want to hit those headshots, take down your target, because it's going to be a while before you can rechamber another round and take a follow-up shot, especially considering that there's that bug in Battlefield 4 that makes you fire off target if you're shooting immediately after you've rechambered a round. Some people were saying that that was actually by design, and it wasn't a bug. It has actually been confirmed not by design, and this is basically when you fire another round right after as fast as you possibly can. Sometimes it goes off target. You'll be aiming directly at somebody's head and it'll miss them by like 10 feet, and this is just some sort of weird issue still persistent in Battlefield 4. Hopefully it'll get fixed in the near future. Unfortunately, this weapon starts off with a 7x scope, and you'll notice that between factions, different faction sniper rifles have different default scopes, and it can be quite a while before you unlock the scope that you're a fan of. Now, I really like the 8x scope. I highly recommend using one scope, getting used to it, and then just putting that scope on all your different sniper rifles so you can just be really comfortable with that zooming distance. And because it takes so long to unlock the 8x scope here, I had to use the 7x scope. You don't unlock the 8x scope until you've probably killed like maybe 300, 400 people with the sniper rifle, which could take you several days at least. And that's actually one of my main criticisms of the order in which you unlock things for sniper rifles in this game, because using the same scope is actually really important to maintaining your skill. And if you're forced to use a different magnification scope for, say, the first 300 kills of a new sniper rifle, it can be really detrimental to somebody who's a dedicated sniper and being forced to use different magnification scopes and switching them up just because they want to try out a new gun. So it would be nice if some of the more popular scopes like the 8x would unlock sooner at maybe 30, 40, or 50 kills. You'll notice that I've been running the Shorty 12-gauge shotgun as my sidearm. I've actually found it quite fun to use in close quarters, especially at those engagement ranges where you put one shot into somebody in close quarters, you don't down them. All you got to do is switch to your Shorty and just shoot in their general direction. Any of the few pellets that hit them should take them out. So it's a great follow-up for close quarters, and it's also a good way to take down people in extreme close quarter environments. Now, one of the issues with the Shorty is that you can't aim down sight with it, so you're stuck to hip firing until you unlock some of the later sights for it. And I just unlocked the red dot sight for it, so it allows me to do that aiming down sights with the Shorty, and that makes it much more effective as a sidearm. It's unfortunate though, and I think it's a bug, that you can't aim down sights with that weapon until you unlock a sight. So you actually have to get 30 kills with the Shorty 12-gauge before it becomes an even more effective sidearm. And although it's never going to be quite as powerful as like say an 870 or Spaz 12 in close quarters, it still can definitely one-shot somebody if you get close enough and you hit a direct enough shot. So that can actually really surprise people when they know you're switching to your sidearm. They kind of rush you, and all of a sudden you've got an excellent close quarter weapon for dealing with at least one person. Now let's take a look at some of the other damage stats of the JNG-90 from Simthic.com. We've got the 100 damage maximum, which is great for close quarters. You can body shot somebody as long as they're not running the defensive perk and take them down in one shot in close range. The damage drop off goes out to 59, and if you compare it to some of the other long range sniper rifles, their damage drop off goes out to 59 also, but it'll usually go out to around 140, 150 meters or along those lines. This one stops at 100 meters meters. So it does do a maximum of 59, which means you can headshot somebody at any distance, but the damage drop off is sooner. So if you don't hit that headshot, your body shot damage is going to be doing less in long-ish range engagements. Anything 100 meters or closer, you're going to be doing less damage body shot than you would with something like an SRR-61 or an M98B. And speaking of those two bolt actions, they are the only ones in the game that actually shoot at a slower round per minute than the JNG-90, and only 1 round per minute slower. JNG-90 41 rounds per minute, the SRR-61 and M98B shoot at 40 rounds per minute. And this is kind of a troubling statistic here because the SRR-61 and M98B on many accounts are superior sniper rifles to the JNG-90, damage-wise and long-range capability-wise. So it's kind of hard to recommend the JNG-90 in that regard. In fact, it would make much more sense if the JNG-90 had its old rate of fire. I think the JNG-90 from Battlefield 3 was actually a much better balanced bolt-action sniper rifle, and for some reason they decided to lower the rate of fire of it for Battlefield 4. And it doesn't really make sense because it's certainly not even coming close to being one of the best bolt-action in the game. That being said, like any bolt action, the differences between them all are fairly minimal, and if you're a good sniper in general and you practice enough with one specific rifle, you can get very good with it. There just isn't any reason to try and get good with the JNG-90, whereas if you get good with something like the SRR-61, you will be significantly better and even more effective at long range. You'll notice that I'm running with a little bit of C4. For team deathmatch scenarios, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I've been having fun with it, trying to blow through walls and get through certain maps. Specific maps that have lots of destruction like Gold Mud Railway and Team Deathmatch and Domination game modes, you can find it to be very effective, especially when people are held up in a building. Usually they're watching doorways and watching the stairs for you to come in. If you got some sticks of C4, you can just blow open all the walls, either bring the building down or come in from a different direction, or even get the kill with the C4 blast itself. Otherwise, I'd recommend running with something like motion sensor grenades or tugs, especially tugs if you're going to be doing a little bit of rooftop camping. There's no shame in that if you're playing the recon class. The primary objective of the recon is to maximize the distance between you and your enemies so that you can win the firefights. Medium range, there's no point in running a bolt action sniper rifle. You're going to lose out to assault rifles and it's going to suck. So you want to try and keep your distance, and if you can separate yourself physically from your enemy by having something like a rooftop in the way, then it's going to work out even better for you. Unfortunately, it's one of those aggravating things, and nobody likes being on the receiving end of a rooftop camper who's just nailing headshots all day. So anyway, that kind of wraps it up for this episode of Sniper Sunday. As much as I would love to recommend the JNG-90, I really can't. It doesn't really make sense to practice with this gun exclusively and get really good with it because the SRR-61 is such a better sniping platform. So for the next episode of Sniper Sunday, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. What bolt action and what semi-auto sniper would you like me to run with and analyze? As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.